Apple wants you to spend over $1,000 on the iPad Pro, but with the M4 chip and 12 gigs of RAM now inside the iPad Air, buying the Pro is honestly a massive waste of money for 90% of people. In this video I'm gonna show you why the Air M4 is the real pro killer and how saving around $400 lets you build a full travel setup like this. As you probably know, I'm a full-time traveler, and I'm traveled with a Mac Mini setup, which includes Mac Mini, a keyboard, a trackpad, and a portable display. And this was the best travel setup for me. And I started thinking about maybe I should move on to the MacBook. I already have one, but honestly I never use it. So to me, buying another laptop which I won't use in the future, not a good idea. So I was thinking maybe I don't want to replace Mac Mini, maybe I want to just extend my workflow. So that's when an iPad comes in. But I faced a huge problem. Do I need to buy an iPad Air or a Pro? So if you didn't know, but in US, an iPad Air costs around $750. An iPad Pro costs $1,200. Damn, that's just a lot. But to be honest, I was terrified of buying the Air and regretting it. But after 2 months of thinking, I finally bought an iPad Air, which is in my opinion will be good for 90% of people. So the first reason I got an Air over Pro is because those specs changed my mind. So if you don't know, the new iPad Air, which came this year, has M4 chip with 12 gigs of RAM, which is huge for an Air iPad. And this was the main reason why I took the gamble. For example, real-world multitasking test. So Stage Manager keeps all my heavy apps open in the background without actually constantly killing them, which sometimes happens for me without the reason, but still 90% of the time you can switch apps and continue using it without reloading it, thanks for a lot of RAM and this one chip. After I bought the Air, I went to the Apple store and tested out the Pro, and I was actually shocked how identical user experience it was, because general speed feels completely identical on Air and on the Pro. So is it worth paying more? In my opinion, no. And on the paper, of course, the difference is huge. M4 chip against M5 chips on the Pro, but you will never feel this difference. And also M4 chip will last so long, so I can use my iPad Air for a long time without worrying to be outdated or something like that, because the power is so huge, so it can last so long. On the Pro you have the M5 chip, which also will last so long. So it can be a good investment to buy a Pro and upgrade it over 7 years or something like that, or maybe more. I'm still using my iPhone 13 Pro since 2021 and it works amazing. You can watch my video on the channel, by the way, about this phone, why I'm not upgrading to the new ones. If you have some questions regarding tech or travels, you can always ask me in my Instagram. Link will be in description, so feel free to text me there. Okay, now it's time to talk about the display, the holy grail of discussion about Air and the Pro. So what do we have here? On the iPad Air, we have 60Hz display, which is some sort of LCD display. On the Pro, we have 120Hz display with ProMotion Think or something like that, and it's OLED, which is huge. To be honest, that was the biggest reason which is holding me back for 2 months, was the fear of missing out this 120Hz ProMotion feature. But it turns out that actually in daily use, it's not a problem at all. I have a portable display, Erzopa G1, 144Hz, which I use on my Mac Mini setup, and it feels so smooth. So I got used to this one refresh rate, and switching back to the 60Hz was terrifying. But actually in daily use, it turns out completely fine. For example, editing videos, typing, scrolling, watching movies, especially during flights, and I never thought about missing 120Hz. So in my opinion, it's not a big deal. But is 120Hz actually nice? Of course, having much smoother motion on your display feels pleasant and much faster, but as for me, in my opinion, but it's a nice to have feature, not a must-have deal breaker worth hundreds extra. By the way guys, all items I use in my travels you can find listed in description, so go check it out, maybe something will be useful for you as well. What about the actual experience of using Air like a content creator? So if you didn't know, but it's not my first channel. I have other channels with different amount of subs, gaming channels, and I constantly every day edited some videos. And recently I started editing videos on my iPad Air, and I was amazed how actually easy it is. So to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Final Cut Pro. In my opinion, that's the worst editing program ever, suitable only for people who don't work on YouTube, because everything there you have to make manually. And I was using Adobe Premiere Pro for the past 7 years or maybe more, but recently I tried DaVinci Resolve Resolve because that's the only app you have on your iPad which brings real desktop editing. For example, Premiere Pro on the iPad is completely crap. Editing videos on the CapCut is the massacre, unless some short form content. But since I'm making long form content, DaVinci Resolve actually was the only app which can run smoothly using M chips. I can easily export videos. I'm not often making 4K videos, but it can do, of course, because you have M4 chip inside, but 99% of the time making just Full HD videos actually works well. What about thermals? Can this thing overheat or throttle? No, actually I didn't encounter something like that. Even on the rendering stage, DaVinci can handle it super smooth without problem. Of course it warms up a little bit, but I didn't have any throttling, and actually the rendering speed using iPad Air is super fast. Of course you can do the same using Pro, but having almost the same performance on the Air feels amazing. But actually it turns out that iPad Air is super powerful travel device. Who knew, right? So let's talk about it, how I travel and use it on the go. Alright, so instead of giving Apple $400 more to get the iPad Pro, you can just spend this thing to build a full travel rig, or I don't know, spend this money on something else, like buying an Apple Watch or something. So sometimes, and to be honest, pretty often, I'm using my iPad Air along with the Apple keyboard and Apple Magic Trackpad, which is, in my opinion, the best trackpad ever. Not because I like Apple, just because it's really good device and it works well with the iPad. So what I can do, I can just place my iPad on a stand. I'm using just iPhone stand, which can actually hold it, super compact and easy to use, or you can use a case with a stand, no problems at all. A lot of ways how we can stand it. And I use my keyboard and trackpad from my Mac Mini without problems and use it like a real PC. So I was trying to use DaVinci Resolve editing my videos using only iPad with this keyboard and the trackpad, and to be honest guys, it felt like I was using a real PC. Of course you don't have to buy the separate keyboard and trackpad for the iPad. Instead you can buy a Magic Keyboard for the iPad, Magic Keyboard case, you know what I mean. But in my opinion, that's just another waste of money, so you don't have to do this. You can watch my previous video about 5 Apple travel accessories you never should buy. I explained that in details, go and watch it. But to be honest, why not? If you don't have to worry about your separate accessories, just get all in one. And also, as I said, I have a portable display which I can easily connect it using USB-C and have a secondary screen, which can be actually the main screen because it's simply bigger, but at the same time you'll have dual screen travel setup, which is amazing, especially considering that the portable display I use cost less than $100. Also, by the way, listed in description. And the funniest thing is, this setup will cost less than the base price of the iPad Pro, which is of course funny. But before we're gonna talk about the real reason why the iPad Pro fails, don't forget to subscribe to my channel right now if you like my content. It's gonna be a huge support for me. So after weeks of editing on the Air, which sounds interesting, I realized that iPadOS is actually bottleneck, not the hardware you'll be using. So no matter what you'll be using, the iPad Air or the iPad Pro, you will hit the wall, which is iPadOS. And in my opinion, this actually OS is so overlooked by Apple because it has so much potential, but it has a lot of bugs, glitches, unpredictable behaviors, and lack of some synchronization. For example, I cannot synchronize my Apple Watch with my iPad and simply unlock it like I can on my Mac Mini. Why Apple didn't do this? I don't know. It's actually impossible to release the full potential of the M4 chip using iPadOS because iPadOS lacks desktop style apps, so it's actually impossible to use. You will have a lot of compromises which shouldn't exist. So a quick example for you. If you're using Safari on the iPad, sometimes it doesn't work properly. You will encounter some bugs, like you cannot open YouTube video on the full screen for some reason, so you have to reload the page and try it again. It will work. Or sometimes apps just shutting down by themselves for no reason, even though I have 12 gigs of RAM. So in my opinion, it feels weird. And of course, iPad just doesn't have any software which can actually release the true power of the chip. So that's the huge bottleneck is for me. And paying more than $1,200 for Pro hardware when iPadOS limits what you can do with this is just leaving money on the table. But of course, considering all these problems, there's some reason you should buy the Pro. So let's talk about it more detailed. Okay, so look, the Pro isn't totally useless. It's just come down to very specific edge cases. You can get a Pro if you're full-time digital artist needing Pencil Pro with low delays, or an HDR colorist needing reference OLED color, or if you're massive 100 gigs plus files daily user and strictly rely on Thunderbolt for transfer speed, go Pro. Otherwise, save your cash. If you just want to get the best iPad ever and money is not an object, buy a Pro. You'll get a lot of cool features which actually you probably don't need, but you will have them, and you can forget about new iPads for 7 years or something like that, because this one will still work. Actually, I like Apple products because they last so long. I still use my first AirPods Pro, they are working great. I still use my first Apple Watches SE, which also works great. I'm using Mac Mini M2, which never let me down, and right now I bought the iPad Air, which also will last like 4 or 5 years or maybe longer, who knows. So sometimes add extra money doesn't mean you're losing them. It just means that you can buy a product which will last almost for 10 years. Add a bit more to extend your user experience and make the product which will last so long is not a bad idea. After 2 months of overthinking, buying the iPad Air M4 was hands down a great move. You get 95% of the Pro experience while keeping $400 in your pocket to build a proper travel workflow or just a desktop workflow. Are you team iPad Air, by the way, or team iPad Pro? Let me know down in the comments.